Hey there, guys. Mrs. King here. Latin. Latin is all about stems and endings. And last week in chapter one, we learned all about verbs. We learned the verb endings and we learned the four principal parts of a verb. This week in chapter two, we're going to learn about nouns. You remember from your Shirley grammar jingle, this little noun floating around names a person, place, or thing, a person, a place, or a thing. And each week in Latin for Children, you are introduced to 10 vocabulary words. Sometimes they give 5 verbs and 5 nouns. This week, they're giving 10 nouns. Last week in chapter one, they introduced 5 nouns, but I didn't talk about them because the way to introduce Latin is by little drippings, little slow little bits. Um, it can be overwhelming, and I'm not interested in overwhelming anybody. I'm interested in breaking it down. One lady said, I demystify Latin. It looks complicated, but really it isn't. And what I find interesting about it is it teaches your students ways to decode words, English words, big, long English words. A lot of English words in our Shirley Grammar vocabulary list are made up of little prepositions. And if you learn those roots, you can figure out, take an educated guess on what the word means. A lot of benefits to Latin. So today in chapter two, we're going to learn about nouns. First, I'm going to review from last week because that's the power, the wonderful gift of classical education is review, review, review. So take a look at my screen. Chapter one, we introduced the same maxim, and I suggest you learning these. They're very easy. It's from the Latin Vulgate, which St. Jerome translated in 486 AD, and it's in Principio erat verbum. In the beginning was the word. This is from the book of John, the Gospel of John. Then they introduce the new chant, the verb chant. They actually conjugate this first verb for us. Amo, amare, amavi, amatum. I love to love, I loved, loved. There are 4 principal parts. Now, this week I was tutoring some students and they did not memorize the part of speech when they first learned it. When you look at your vocabulary list, tell your brain this is a verb. A verb, a verb. What is a verb? Haven't you heard there are 2 kinds of verb? An action verb and a linking verb. This is an action verb. So put that in your brain. This is a verb and it's an action verb. We're going to talk about linking verbs later. So they actually conjugate this verb. And in chapter two, the chant um, is the endings. Ost, mustis, nt. And what does O mean in Latin? I. What does S mean in Latin? You. What does T mean in Latin? He, she, or it. What does mus mean in Latin? We. What does tis mean? You all. And what does nt mean? They. You remember last week we learned these, and I gave you a chart. Hopefully you printed it off and colored the endings. Ost, mustis, und. Okay? Your chart is going to be key for you translating sentences and just getting information in your head. It organizes the information, organizes it. It says that this is the present tense, and an ending can either be a first person, a second person, or a third person. An ending can also be either the number of singular or the number of plural. And of course, these helpful helping um, um, verb, helping verbs up here identify this as the present tense. Just like later on, we're going to learn the imperfect was, were, used to, or kept. It identifies that we're in the imperfect tense. And of course, will and shall tell us that we're in the future tense. So there's actually 4 questions that we answer for a verb, but I want you to know the 3. Person, number, singular or plural, or tense. Person, number, tense. Person, number, tense. So when we do our exercises, you're going to be putting that answer. It's called parsing. You're going to be parsing, which is answering three questions, person, number, tense. Okay? So last week you learned those, and then you learned these verbs. Amo, amare, amawi, amatu. Do, dari, dedi, datu. Intro, intrari, intrawi, intratu. And how I taught you those, showing you PowerPoints. Okay, the first words you learned, the verb is amo, amari, amawi, amatum. And this is one of the most important verbs ever because as believers, we should be known as love. We're becoming love. God says he's love and God dwells in us. So we are lovers of people and we're lovers of God. Amo, amare, amawi, amatum. I love to love. I love love. Here's a picture of the father welcoming home the prodigal son. And the derivatives of these are English words that you see. Anything with am in it, amo, it has to do with love. So you learned that. Then the second verb was do, dare, dedi, datu. I give, to give, I gave, given. Do or donate. Here's another verb, intro, intrawi, intrawi, intratum. I entered, to enter, I entered, enter. Your words entrance, introduce, introduction, okay? Laboro, laborare, laborawi, laboratum. Working, labor, laboratory, in a laboratory. The scientist, he's working hard to find the cure for cancer or whatever. Oops, wrong. My little touch of it. All right. Tell. Great verb. Narrow, narrari, narrowi, narratum. I tell, to tell, I told. Narrate, narration, narrative. This is a fabulous verb. We all have our lives are stories that we're telling by the way we live. And we're telling either what we believe that Jesus died for our sins, that he loves us, or we're living a life that says, ah, it's not connecting what really happened to our beliefs. So that's what we're working on, right? We're working that out. All right, let's do the next one. And now we're introduced into our water, to our nouns. Aqua, aquae, water. Anytime you see aquatic, you know it has to do with water. Fabula, fabuli, story. Notice there's two pieces of information with the noun. Fable or fabulous comes from them. Porta, portai, door or gate, and a port or portable. Silwa, silwai is forest or wood. Pennsylvania is the derivative. And the last derivative in chapter 1, the last noun is terra, terrai. So that's derivatives or extraterrestrial, terrain, and terrarium. All right, you can see on the screen here we have chapter 2, right? And I told you there's 10 nouns. So let's take a look at them. All right, the first one is weah, weai. Now remember, our V's are pronounced as wa, W's, right? And this means road or way. Now, what you're looking at here are literal pictures of a viaduct, okay? This is during the time the Romans and built these waterways for water to come and just for people to walk over, right? VIA means road or way. Remember, Jesus said that he was the way to think, the way to God. So we love that word, the way. People were actually identified as the way. Not the word Christian, but the way. We were followers of the way. All right, there you go. There's your first noun. Notice the endings, ah and I, ah and I. This is the second word, fossa, foss I. Again, notice the endings, ah and I. It means ditch. You can see the picture of the ditch here. And in the ditch, I put this picture of a fossil on top so that you would notice that fossafisai means ditch. I found this word when I learned it many years ago, difficult to remember. I don't think of a ditch as a fossil being in it. So There you go. I put a picture of this fossil being found in this ditch. And so the derivatives here, look at that. Fossil, fossilize. Okay? Hopefully that helps. All right. The third word, mensa, mensai, table. Mesa, if you speak Spanish, you know that mesa is a big, long, level playing area. And that's what a table is, just a long, level place where we eat, dine, celebrate, and commune with one another. So there you go. The fourth one, oh, this is a fabulous one. This is the derivative for metamorphosis. And the reason why we love this word is it's kind of like what happens to us before we become believers. We're literally changed. Paul says in Galatians that the old man has died and the new man is a complete new creation. And that's what a butterfly is. It's a complete change. Morph right here. Meta means turning point or goal, and morph means change of shape, a shape. And of course, we now have Christ in us and we're becoming like him, right? We let him rule and reign in our lives and we become like him. So we love this picture. We love this idea. So beautiful, beautiful. All right, next one. Pagina, paginai, page. This is not going to be a hard word for you to remember because in the word itself is P-A-G, and just turn the I into an E. Ta-da! Okay. Sena, senai, food. Sometimes the C's are pronounced k, and sometimes they're pronounced s, just like in English. Food, food. What's a derivative of sena, senai? Kenako. Kenako is a fancy dining room table where you put this delicious food. Of course, this is Mr. Kang picked this picture out. He said, we got to have some rice in there. Koreans always eat rice with everything, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here's some delicious chicken with some mushrooms. And those look like shrimp. Yes, he loves seafood. All right, beep. All right. Beautiful word. Patria, patriae. Again, boys and girls, please pay attention to the endings. Tell us this is the noun, the subject noun, and I tell us this is the possessive noun adjective. I. This means fatherland, okay? Derivatives like patriotic and patriot. These are people who love their country. They love their country. And of course, what better way to illustrate that than the flag and our national bird, right? The eagle. All right, next one. Ooh, look at the colors in this. Aura, ori means breeze. Now, this is a picture of the Northern Lights. You got to imagine this cold, cold region and the reflection of the lights. You literally can see with your eyes the colors of the breeze, the wind, right? Right? It's moving and you can see the colors. So aura, ori, that was always a tricky one for me to remember. But when I started seeing, a lot of times if somebody gives me a reason why I need to remember something, I'll remember it. It doesn't have to make any sense. I like this picture and this picture, and I want to go to this place. I want to go to the Northern Lights. I want to see those colors. I love color and aroma. So I can't imagine there's too much smell up there, but aroma, A-R, is in the spelling. So it's a breeze. Okay, think of that. All right, let's do the next one. This is a word we're going to use a lot. Queen. And we have king, but queen is regina, reginae. Roll your R. Regina, reginae. Queen. And the derivatives are regal and reign. Regal and reign. Reign is a great verb. It can also be operating as a noun. Regal is something that you just behave. And remember this, that in First Peter, it tells us that we have been adopted into the lineage of Jesus. He is a king, and we are sons and daughters of the King Most High. So remember that so you can act that. Because as a man thinketh, so he is. Beautiful. All right, last word here. Insula, insulae, island, island. Now, I don't know about you, but I would love to be on that island, surrounded by that water. I probably would just be in the water. I love water. But insular and insulated is a derivative from this word. When you're insulated, you have all this something surrounding you. And I want you to think about that as far as a believer goes. That God says we are kept. This is Apostle Paul says this in Ephesians. We are kept. We are surrounded. We have a hedge about us, a protection. We are kept by the power of God. The power of God, who spoke with the word, and the creation came into being. Hello? When you're getting afraid, when I'm afraid, I will trust in God. You are protected and isolated in a good way, not a bad way. Beautiful. You guys, these are 10 great vocabulary words. So there you go. Chapter 2. There's your words that I just PowerPointed. And now, as you're learning them, you are doing what we did to the verbs. You are declining them. You need both pieces of information. Um, and and this noun declension form that I emailed is what we're going to be using. Just like last time I gave you this, a verb conjugation form. You put all 4 principal parts in here. Just a side note here. If you really want to learn all your vocabulary words and do them well, and you can carve out a little bit of time every day, just a little bit, not much, I'm praying that you have the motive to do it. And the ones in Latin class are motivated. So every one of your verbs, if you turn back to chapter 1, every one of your verbs, put all 4 principal parts right in the top there. This is just to get started. Put all 4 principal parts. Then just like this, follow the directions to conjugate a verb. You go to the infinitive. The second principal part is the infinitive. You cross out the RE. All infinitives end in RE. And you're left with the stem. I told you Latin's all about stems and endings. So put the stem there, the definition, then you're going to write that stem 6 times, 3 in the singular, 3 in the plural. And then you're going to add your endings. OST mustis und OST mustis und. And then your subject pronouns over here. O means I, S means you, T means he, she, it, mus means we, tis means you all, and nt means they. Then you're going to take the meaning of the word of the verb, and you're going to put it in here. I love, you love, he, she, it loves, we love, you all love, they love. Excellent. All right. So now we're doing nouns. And so nouns do not have 4 principal parts. Instead, they have 2 principal parts. So you're going to put V-I-A, V-I-A-E. All right, so VIA, this one goes right here. And you know what I did? Again, I love color for visuals. Is I made that A. Oh yeah, now we can't even see the A, Mrs. King. Okay, oops. Okay, sorry. Fail. Oh my, that looks messy. Well, whatever. A VIAE, I might just do it under then. How about that? Is that better? Yep, looks horrible. Whatever. Okay, VIA, VIAE. And remember, it's all about stems and endings. So we got to get to the stem. How do you decline a noun? And by the way, decline is what we do to nouns. And what we're doing is we're moving away from the subject. It's just how we break down a noun into its different parts. Nouns have 5 different parts. Right here, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are Latin names for the noun, the different parts of speech. I'll teach those to you. Don't worry about them for now, but there's 5 of them. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. But for now, I want to teach you how to decline a noun. So these are all your nouns. You're going to take this noun declension form and you're going to decline all your nouns. Your mom needs to make copies of this. All right, here we go. What does it say? Go to the genitive. This is the genitive. Cross out the genitive ending. The what? The genitive ending. The what? The genitive ending. Now, there are 5 different kinds of nouns in Latin. Oh, you're only going to learn 3. You're going to learn the first one and the second one, and then the second neuter. That's all you're going to learn. And you're like, that's all. That looks like a lot. Well, okay. Okay, but I'm going to help you. I've got some tricks up my sleeve. Okay. So we're going to do this first kind of noun. And notice what I did is there's a lot of nouns. So, I need all the help I can get. So I use colors. I use pink. Why would you color the first declension box pink? Why? By the way, I did email you a chart and yours looks like this. No colors. So get that chart out, okay? And you're going to color this pink and then only the endings, all right? And the first declension, you're going to color it pink. So get that out. And it says Latin noun endings chart 1. Okay? All right, here we go. So you're going to color this pink. You're going to write up here, okay? And you can push pause at any time when we're talking. Feminine, because this is the gender of all these kinds of nouns. When you say first declension, you're literally going to say first declension feminine. You're going to think feminine. There are 4 exceptions, 4 nouns that are not feminine, but we can talk about those later. So this is the first kind of noun, and it has endings. And I'm going to teach you how we're going to memorize those endings. You ready? Is, us, is, I, is, us, is. And this is the song to, there was a dog and and Bingo was his name. Oh, is, us, is, is, us, is. Bingo was his name. Oh, Bingo, 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 and Bingo was his name. Oh, hey. All right. I love that song. I learned that when I was a little girl. So that's what we're going to do. That's what it's I write the stem 10 times. So, in the verb, we wrote it 6, but in the Latin, we're going to write that stem 10 times. And then we're going to add the noun case endings. What's the noun case endings? I, is, us, is, I, is, us, is. Okay? So let's do it. All right, we are. What's the stem? Well, go to the genitive. Here's the genitive. Cross out the genitive ending. What's the genitive ending for a first declension? AE. So put that in there. Cross that out. And you're left with the stem. Please don't say cross out. Do not go in your brain and say, oh, I'm just going to cross out the A. Because here's the stem. Watch me. There's the stem. And you can clearly see that if you just drop that A, VI is the stem. That doesn't work. That system doesn't work because the other kind of nouns are irregular. That means they don't follow a pattern. So the proper way to learn how to find your stem, and remember what I told you Latin's all about. Stems and endings. You got to have the proper foundation for finding your stem. And you know what? That's actually a really good thought process in life. We've got to have our foundation. Our foundation has to be firm. We can't skirt around and make a shortcut to find. We build everything on our foundation. Okay? It's got to be solid. And your solid foundation, Latin's all about stems and endings. So let's find that stem. Let's find that stem. It's VI. Go to the genitive, cross out the genitive ending, find that genitive ending. So that first declension is AE, the singular right there. Here's the second declension. It's an I. Even in this one, it's an I. Cross it out, cross it out, cross it out, and you're left with the stem. There it is. Write that stem 10 times. So here we go. Write it 10 times. Can you do it? On your marks, get set, go. I pushed pause. All right, now let's go to those endings. All right, where are they? They're right here. Ah, put that ah in there. I. AE is pronounced I, like aye, sir. Okay, yep, that is I again. You're like, what's going on? Yep. I, put an in there. Ah, with a long mark over there. The long mark tells us whether it's operating as an object of a preposition or whether it's operating as the subject. So that long mark is important. All right, what's the plural one? I. Oh no, we have three of them. Yes, we do. Aurum. Is. As. Is. Arum, is, us, is. I'll tell you a little thing, trick. You're going to remember these endings because you're the singing, just like Shirley Grammer. This little noun floating around names a person, place, or thing. An adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. An adverb as, how, when, where. Those are all chants. You're going to remember them. It's the way we operate. We remember that sound. Repetition, 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 repetition. So think about this in the Christian realm. When you hear somebody say, I love you, you are amazing. When you hear that, how does that make you feel? Great. Remember that. Remember that. Bring that forward. When you don't feel good, remember God loves me. God loves me. God loves me. That narrative is powerful. Don't listen to the other voices. All right. Sounds are powerful. We got to believe them. Believe the truth. All right, so let's take a look at what does it mean in English. We've got the Latin. We added the noun cases. What does this word mean? Well, remember, it means road or way. Road or way. Wait a minute, you didn't finish this. What declension is this? Well, let's look at our information. It's a first declension. Now I'm going to use my color, and I suggest you do too. It's a trick, a way of learning quickly. And the gender, I already told you what the gender is. The gender's feminine. I'm putting an F for feminine. And now let's see what it means in English. Okay? The first word, via, means road or way. You know what? I'm not going to write road. I could write road. I did write road, but I'm going to translate way. I like way. Jesus said he is the way, and I love Jesus. All right. So via, with that A, means way or the way. You can always put the in there if you want to. There's no way to translate the. It's just stick it in if you want to, if it makes sense, more flow of the sentence. All right, the way or the road. Vi means of the way. Of the way. This AE means of the. These two, this little word of, you better have it in there. Okay? This one, the indirect object, this one is to the way or for the way. Sorry. To or for the way. Or to or for the road. So the road, the way, of the way, to or for the way. And this is the way. And by the way, you're saying, hey, wait a minute. That sounds just like the subject. And that's because it is. It's translated in English the same. The direct object is translated the same as the subject. Accusative is the direct object. That's the direct object right there. And this is the subject noun. Okay? All right, so we've got the way, of the way. Please remember when you see that of. To or for the way. And this is a prepositional phrase. By, with, or from the way. This is the plural, right? This is your singular, and this is your plural. The ways. This is of the ways, so it's exactly like the singular, but you're just making it plural. This is either to or for the ways, and this is, again, the same as the subject, the ways, and this is by, with, or from the ways. Okay? There you go. This is called declining, and this is my why my students know their vocabulary words, because they decline every noun. Does it take time? Yes. And then you see how it operates in every part of speech. So let's talk about those parts of speech. And a case is a noun job. A case is a noun job. You know, in Shirley Grammar, we have 8 parts of speech: nouns, verbs, pronouns, NVP, adjectives, adverbs, double A, preposition, interjection, conjunction, PIC. In Latin, we have the subject noun. These are just nouns, right? This is a possessive noun, adjective. This dative is an indirect object. The accusative is the direct object, and the ablative is the object of the preposition. Okay? They're nouns. They're nouns. We have 5 noun jobs. Nominative, if you look at your sheet, nominative, it's the subject noun. Genitive, possessive noun adjective. Dative, indirect object. Accusative, direct object. And the last one is ablative, the object of the preposition. Now remember, Latin's all about stems and endings. You learn the stem by declining the noun. You learn the stem by going to the genitive, cross out the genitive ending, and you're left with the what? The what? Say it again. Say it, Ryan. The stem. You're left with the stem. Then you have 10 endings. Is, us, is. You have those endings. And if you memorize them, you'll be able to translate sentences. What else is it? Let me tell you the other benefit. When you're answering, when you're noticing stems, you're just becoming aware of stems. We're training your brain. We're working those synapses in your brain. You're like, I'm not interested. No, 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 no. God created us in his image, and we're becoming like him as we exercise the gifts that he's given. He's given us a brain. We need to exercise it. So please be diligent, learn those endings, use the chant idea that I just gave you. I have some students that say, Mrs. Kang, I am not singing. What? I sing the mighty power of God. You have to sing. You were made to sing. The birdie sings. So, but you can also chant, right? I, is, us, is. Okay? Chanting, singing is simply an extension of speaking. All right, so do that too for down here. You're going to put fossa, fossi. So Foss and Foss. I already, and then I'm just going to take another color and put and I, because I want the stem to pop out and the endings to pop out. That's how I teach. people, I tutor a lot of people, and people wonder, why does Mrs. Kang's student have such a strong foundation in the how-tos and the what-fors? Because that's how I teach. I don't just want you to translate the sentence. I want you to know how it was put together. Because I want to know how it was put together. All right, this is a first declension, and this is feminine. Write those pieces of information. What does foci mean? Do you remember the picture? That ditch and that little fossil in it? It means ditch. So when you write your English, ditch of the, by the way, here's a tip. If you don't want to keep writing the word ditch, you're going to remember what it means. That's the whole point of this exercise. Then just do one of these. What does that mean? It means whatever's that is going to go there. So ditch of the ditch, to or for the ditch. The Now, if you want to, go ahead and break down and actually write the word again. And then this is your prepositional phrase. It could be by the ditch, with the ditch, for the ditch, but otherwise just write. And then here's your plural side, right? Ditches of the. And again, to or for. You don't have to put the if you don't want to, but if it makes better sense to translate it, and there's your preposition. All right, I noticed, did I say for? I meant from, fail, whatever, by, with, or from the ditch. All right, so what would I put? What's the stem? F-O-S-S, and I'm going to write that 10 times, and then I'm going to write with a macron, a long mark. Arum is us is. Arum is us is. All right, beautiful. These are nouns. This is what you do with nouns. Yeah, and nouns are important. So, get started. Decline those nouns. Memorize those words. The reason why I'm having you decline nouns is so you can memorize the words. I had a student once who was so smart. He said, Miss Kang, I am not declining those words. What? Nope. He wasn't going to parse out any word either. I'm not doing it. You know, I didn't know his capability. He was kind of like on a genius level, and he didn't need it. So I kind of got smart and okay. But that might not be you. You know, we all have different gifts, and we have to always look at the big picture. What's the point? You know, we want to operate in freedom, peace, and joy. That's what the kingdom of heaven is. And so if somebody doesn't need to do something and it's a waste of time, okay. Right? If you can do the task in love, that's fine. All right, let's take a look here. These are the practice sentences that you're going to have every week. A few phrases so that what you just learned can be put into your head, reinforced, right? All right, I've got some a vocabulary up here. We I. This is from chapter 2. It means road or way. So I gave you a part of speech. It's a subject noun. And then here's an ending. A-R-U-M. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay. And I told you it's a possessive noun adjective. This is just, I don't do this in the other exercises. Foci, we're going to operate and translate it as if it's a PNA, possessive noun adjective. So let's take a look at that. Fossa is a ditch. Mensa is table. This is just a little review, a little key. Meta is turning point goal. Remember that butterfly? Pagina is page. It looks like it, the spelling. Sena is dinner. I didn't put the genitive up here, saving space. You can look at it in your book. Patria, fatherland or countryland. Ori, breeze. Regina, queen. Notice the pronunciation of the G, g, Regina, queen. Okay, an island, insula. Those are the words that we're translating. But I want you to pay attention to the endings. The endings, okay? So I did highlight them. They don't have a pink on the computer, so I highlighted them. So let's take a look at our chart. And actually, you already declined we are. What does it mean? The road or the way. That's what it means. So that is what you're translating it. But you know what I want you to do? So you can say the road, or you can say the way, whatever you want. But if you were to take a look at this, and these endings on the first declension, and again, this is yours, so go ahead and color those pink. It'll help you. There are 3 details I want you to notice when you look at an ending. I want you to notice the gender. I want you to notice the gender. The gender for this word is feminine. So what I'm going to put right above the word is an F for feminine. I want you to notice the ending is in the singular column. So I want you to put the letter S for singular. And the last thing I want you to notice, gender, number. I want you to notice the case is nominative. And nominative means subject noun. They mean the same thing. I want you to notice that. Okay, number 2, arum. Arum. Oh, there it is. Arum. It is feminine, plural, and it's a genitive, also known as PNA. It's feminine, plural, and it's a genitive. Now, what does that mean? Well, we already know what it means. It's right here. It means of the ways or of the roads. Okay. Of the ways. Of the ways. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Foci. Don't forget what it means. It means ditch. It has an ending AE and it says PNA. So I'm going here to the first declension. I see PNA right there. By the way, you see these parts of speech? You are welcome to write in SN, leave space for 2 other labels too. PNA, write it right there. IO, write it right to the in this margin. DO, leave space for that. And OP. Yeah, because I can't remember what those mean. So I added those little signs right here. They're helpful. All right, go back to this one. Fossa means stitch. AE, a P and A. It's right here. But let's answer those 4 questions. It's feminine. It's in the singular column. And it's a genitive. It's feminine. It's in the singular column. And it's genitive. Now remember, every time we translate a genitive, what little word does it start with? Of. Write it down. Of the, and then whatever fossa means ditch. Of the ditch. Okay, do the next one. Fossam. By the way, all the exercises, these words are from this first declension. All the endings are found here. So get used to looking for the endings. This is always a direct object. Praise God, we don't have another so we don't have another choice. It's right here. And so you're going to write, if you look at the transition, it's the same as the subject. So the way, and let's see what this one is. What does fossa mean? Ditch. The ditch. The ditch. Beautiful. Okay. Mensa. Mensa. What does mensa mean? It means table. So you can see what I'm doing with these exercises is I'm giving you an opportunity to work with them, deal with them, get them up here. I want you to see the picture of that level place. It's a table, okay? Now, this is the ending AE. It says it's a subject noun. Oh, look, we're in the plural column. So it's feminine, plural, and it's a nominative. Feminine, plural, and it's in the nominative, NOM. And if we look at this, it's not translated the ways, it's translated the tables. The tables. Okay, and it's a capital letter. So remember, a sentence is complete when 5 simple rules it meets. It has a subject and a verb. It makes sense. This is not a sentence. but it has a capital letter. So start with your capital letter there when you see a subject noun. All right. Still with the word table, we have an ending IS. And we want you to pay attention, we're in the plural column, that it could either be the indirect object, the dative, or it could operate as the object of the preposition. Huh. All right. Interesting. So it's feminine, plural. And so they're just saying, hey, pay attention. When you're translating a sentence and you see IS, be aware that it could be operating like this or like that. So how are you going to figure it out? You are going to puzzle it out. You're going to translate it as if it's the indirect object. And if it doesn't work, you're going to put a by with or from in there. Why do I say by with or from? Because those are prepositions. Aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at, by, with, or from. Okay. Except for, from. All right. So this is table. So if it's a plural, let's just notice those 4 questions. If it's 2 or 4, the tables, or by, with, from the tables. That's how we translate it. But let's take a look here. Its gender is feminine, it's plural, and it's either the dative or the object of the preposition. So it's feminine, it's plural, it's either the dative or it's still feminine, plural, and it's object of the preposition. So it's either 2 or 4 of the tables or by, with, or from the tables. And if some of you all are saying, you know what, I just don't care about these. Okay, that's fine. I'm just giving you a chance to dig into the word and to learn not just what the word means, which is a big deal. That's a big deal. But how you can get it, understand it in a sentence. Last week, you all did these sentences. You had some of these nouns, and we translated a few of them. Remember, for your verbs, these were just verbs. We learned verbs, right? That T means he, she, or it, right? So I'm going to say he, and AMA means love. He loves, he is loving, he does love. We can use any of those helping verbs. Again, NT is they, and AMA means love. They love, they are loving, they do love. These were verbs. We translated verbs. Why did you do that, Mrs. Kane? Because I want you to get used to the endings. The only way you're going to learn something is to get your hands in it and start doing something with it. That's what these little exercises are. I taped a video of me translating these, and you can do it along with it. And I'm going to do the same thing this week with those sentences. I'm going to translate them, and you're going to do them. And it's gonna, if you spend some time in the beginning and you get used to this process, you're gonna be a master. It's just takes a little time in the beginning for you to get the flow of asking the 4 questions. Now, for verbs, we don't have a gender, right? For verbs, we ask person, number, tense. Person, number, tense. So the person for T is third. The number for T is singular, and the tense for T is present. Person, number, tense. Person, number, tense. Person, number, tense. Remember, you're just learning. So just receive it. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Person, number, tense. These are called parsing. We can parse a noun and we can parse a verb. You already did these, by the way. Intro is enter, and O means I. So this is I enter. T means he, she, or it. Nera means what? Tell. He tells. So you can translate, yay. And you can parse, which means break the word down and tell me what's the person, what's the number, and what tense is it? I don't want to do that, Mrs. Kane. What? What do you mean you don't want to do it? All right. You know what happens when you talk like that? Things happen like that. Poke. You would not do that, Mrs. King. You don't poke people. Really? Okay. Well, all right. What? All right, Mrs. King, back to the lesson. Thank you. All right. No, really, again, it's just working your mind. Your parents signed you up because they want to get that brain going. All right. So verbs, in order to parse, we're asking person, number, tense, and for nouns, we're asking. Remember, it's called parsing. We're asking gender, number, and case. Gender, number, case. Gender, number, case. Listen, Mary Poppins said it beautifully when she said, you ready? Ready? With every job there must be done, there is an element of fun. So find the fun and snap the jobs again. With every task you undertake, becomes a piece of cake. All right, this is going to be a piece of cake, a good cake, whatever cake you like. You don't like cake, we're going to find something else. This is going to be fun. All right, so tell your brain this is going to be fun, even if it's not fun. And the more you say it's going to be fun, it will become fun. And hey, you're with me and I'm fun. And if you're not thinking that, then start thinking it, because that's how I want to be thought of. It's fun. Mrs. Jobs, Mrs. Kang is the word lady. She makes everything fun. Yes. All right, guys, that's it for chapter 2. We introduced nouns and we reviewed verbs. So every day, take a look at those words. And what I want you to do too, I want you to take a composition notebook and I want you to put chapter 2 words in there. We, I, road or way. Fossa, fossai, ditch. And form a picture of those words so that when we do the parsing out, the translating, you're going to remember what the word means. Meanwhile, I'm going to have a little vocabulary key at the top. And then we're going to dive more into what are those noun jobs, the 5 noun jobs: the subject, possessive noun, adjective, indirect object, direct object, and object of the preposition. You're going to find that you understand your grammar, your Shirley grammar better, because this curriculum uses Shirley grammar to translate sentences. You're going to understand the linking verb better. You're going to understand tenses better. Why? Because you're learning more, you're expanding your understanding. So use the gift that God gave you, your brain and your understanding, and enjoy this class. I'm enjoying you. So thank you. And here's my reaction to you. Bless you. All right. Bye-bye.